YouTube channel for it,
The cheetah nose. I was very tempted as conditioned office. I dragged myself away. Got a glass of iced water as well before I left. I thought I can't leave those two down there on their own.
Yarab again, hit Walter on the pads. Think about the field. They decide that the ball is drifting down the leg side. For listeners on Sports Extra, we've been online with BBC Essex throughout the day. But if you're just joining us, if this is your first exposure to the second day of this tour match between Essex and India, a little bit earlier on, India were bowled out for 395 at the beginning of the day on 322 for 6. Essex now find themselves 186 for 5. Nick Brown made 11, Baron Chopra 16, Umesh Yadav again, and Paul Walter defends. Tom Wesley, the captain, 57. Michael Pepper, the youngster in only his second game, made 68. Fine innings before being bowled by Ishant Sharma. Rishi Patel on his Essex debut, 19. And now James Foster, the veteran wicketkeeper, is on 5. And Paul Walter, the tall left-hander, is yet to score. India getting some valuable overs in their legs before that first test against England begins next Wednesday. The fast ball Umesh Yadav is in, some bouncer to Walter, who doesn't know much about it. Just fends it away to where a silly point would have been. Walter is now doing some gardening. We're with you for about another hour here. Play will conclude at 6 o'clock, and then from 7 o'clock on Sports Extra, the Rugby League, St Helens against the Warrington Wolves. As you would expect, I'm sure as you know, around the UK, it's been blisteringly hot in most places. Just the same here at Chelmsford, where there's not really a cloud in the sky. It's been rocket hot all day, but we're now just getting a little bit of a breeze. You can tell the sun is just dipping that little bit lower because shadows are being cast left to right as we look out. And Yadav bowls again to Walter. It's another short ball. Walter plays this one much better, guiding the ball down into the gully region. It's the end of the over. Essex are 186 for 5 in reply to India's 395.
Yes, there is a little bit of a breeze getting up, but as we've referred to quite a few times, there's a big sycamore tree on the far side of the ground, which must be about 10, 20, 30, 40, somewhere between 50 and 60 feet tall, and the top of that is waving around enough to show that there is a significant breeze. Just looking for flags, I can't see any flags being flown anywhere. Essex flag is not being flown, neither is the Indian one. So we'll go by the tree to judge the force of the breeze or otherwise.
2 slips for James Foster as Ishant Sharma goes padding in towards him. That's a straight delivery, and the veteran wicketkeeper just turns the ball onto the onside. There's no run. 2 slips, a point, a cover, a mid-off, a mid-on, a mid-wicket, and 2 men back. Back with square leg and the long leg. There's 1 day of this match remaining. It was originally scheduled at the request of the BCCI. We'll be online throughout tomorrow. We'll be popping onto 5 Live Sports Extra either side of things like Formula 1, the Tour de France, and the women's KSL. Ishant Sharma inspects the ball. It's in his right hand. He's got tight bandages on both elbows and a sweatband on his left wrist. He bowls now. Foster half-heartedly drives up to mid-off. There's no run. Fielder vigorously shines the ball on his right thigh. It's a precious little spin today, Dick. It's the pace bowlers who can get it to their legs.
Yes, very, very little. I don't think we saw any Essex spin this morning. Not that they have many spin options. In fact, looking down the list, don't really have any spin options. Just occurred to me. Oh, Nijar, yes, but I don't think he bowled very much.
Ishant bowls, that's outside Foster's off stump and left alone. Score remains 186 for 5.
Yes, I must admit I was looking forward to seeing who is it, Kuldeep Yadav bowl, because he had a spectacular time in the recent one-day series.
Yeah, we've seen only 2 overs of spin from India so far this afternoon. Ravi Jadeja's left arm. They got 17 runs. Apart from that, it's been pace all the way. Shami, Umesh Yadav, Ishant Sharma, who's bowling now, Hardik Pandya, and Shardil Thakur. Ishant at the river end, running the way from the water and into Foster, who drives up to mid-on, and once again there is no run. Foster, familiar batting stance, behind that arm guard that we're so used to seeing him wear when he bats. Shortish figure, he's down the track now and just pats at a spot that's taken his eye. He's got number 7 on his back, he just scrapes at his guard with his right boot. Then he adjusts the peak of his helmet with his left hand and settles into his stance, tapping the bat twice, and then once more as Ishant sets off on his journey, heels kicking up behind him. Bowls now to Foster. Hit Foster on the path. There's an appeal for LBW. Ishant's begging for it, but it's turned down, and Ishant turns to the keeper and the 2 slips as if to say, what on earth was wrong with that?
Yes, indeed.
It looked like maybe there was it potentially just drifting down the leg side. I think if this was a test,
Can you explain why he didn't give it out? Or he can say, just get, I'll do my job, you do yours, get on with it. I would imagine Nick Cook, being a bit of a gentleman, probably explained why he didn't give it out. But what I'm saying is he's not obliged to.
well, the disappointed Ishant, he's got a goatee beard and slick back dark hair, tries once more to James Foster, short outside the off stump. Foster prods it determinedly and the ball goes past the inside edge in between bat and pad to completely over, an over where India thought they should have had success. As it is, James Foster survives. It's 186 for 5, Foster has 5, Paul Walter is yet to get off the mark.
And James Foster, yes, this is his first game for a month or more, probably nearer 2 months for Essex. He was been dropped or been away or been rested, and then he was in Canada. But I was just thinking, he's been playing many years for Essex, still one of the best keepers on the circuit. I think it's probably no exaggeration to say that amongst the crowds and the fans, he's probably commanded the most respect amongst fans since probably the days of Graham Gooch.
Umesh Yadav to begin a new over to Wall, who drives very handsomely up to mid-off, but there's a fielder there and there's no run. Has James Foster been honoured in any way for his service here? What I'm thinking here is a stand, maybe a room in the pavilion, James Foster coat peg in the change room.
Oh, maybe, yes, but no, there's nothing named after him as yet, but
I think there might be, wouldn't you?
Well, yes, of course, Essex have produced a lot more than several good players over the years. Maybe there aren't enough gongs to go around.
Bowls, and Walter, 22 on his back, defends comfortably up to mid-off. He's got a lot of company at the moment, Paul Walter, in the shape of close catchers. 3 slips, a leg gully and a short mid-wicket. On top of that there's a point, a mid-off, a mid-on and a long leg.
He's also one of these players that commands respect not just of the fans, but you get the impression he commands the respect of all the players on the county circuit. He's one of those sort of people.
Umesh bowls short outside the off stump, and Walter raises his hands to let the ball go through to the wicket-keeper. Score remains 186 for 5.
He doesn't court or create controversy, just very good at what he does, and very affable, amiable. Everybody seems to like him. Nobody's ever had a bad word for James Foster. He's always happy to talk to the fans, the crowds. Brings his wife and 3 daughters along to cricket now and again, and just an all-round good egg and a very good wicket-keeper still.
He's got his hand on his hip at the non-striker's end as Yadav bowls. That's clipped very fine for 4 by Paul Walter. That has scooted to the fine leg boundary to get Walter off the mark. The score moves to 190 for 5.
Yeah, so we've seen 260 runs scored today. No, 270 runs today. The Indians added 73 this morning, and so 263 runs scored today with another 50 minutes or so.
It's been enjoyable stuff, and I was thinking when I was wandering around the tee, there was so many spectators gathered behind the Tom Pearce stand. I was wondering how many. Yadav bowls once more to Walter. Vicious bounce that Walter does well to sway out of the whale. Yeah, I was thinking how pleasant it was that so many spectators had turned up to now what is essentially a friendly.
Yes.
and the crowd has been healthy for the first 2 days of this game. It's starting to thin out a little now. I was just at the back of the commentary box on the phone before, and I saw some spectators just filing out near the river. So I look towards my left, and the seats, the white seats that are uncovered, there's only a handful of spectators left sitting in those. Umesh Yadav once more. Walter defends with no great foot movement, back to the bowler. That is the end of the over. Essex have moved on to 195, Foster has 5, Walter 4, Essex are 205 runs behind India.
Yes, and there's understandably a lot of Indian supporters supporting the Indian team. I mean, Chelmsford is half an hour at the most from London, from Liverpool Street, so you know it's easy to get to from the East End or anywhere in London. So I'm sure a lot of people have hopped on the train and come down to Chelmsford, and from Chelmsford Station it's what, a 3-minute walk, something like that. And so yes, and a lot of home supporters have come to see the Indians as well. I mean, one of the knock-on advantages of the media covering games, you hear about these names, or you see them on television, or you see their names in the newspapers. It's nice to see them in the flesh.
Ishant Sharma into James Foster with 2 slips in place. Foster gets very low to the ball to defend into the offside. There's no run as the point fielder collects the ball.
And I think also, obviously it didn't apply today, but I think just the very name Virat Kohli brings people in. There aren't too many names nowadays like there used to be, which will actually guarantee people, I must go and watch a game because so-and-so will be playing. But Virat Kohli is one of those who does attract crowds, and so he should. Arguably the best batsman in the world.
Siren goes by behind us. They have done with regularity throughout the day. Sharma, casting a shadow to his left, gathers pace as he runs into James Foster. Foster just jams down on a ball that threatens to keep a little low into the onside, and there's no run. Hardik Pandya, under his white floppy sun hat, the mid-on fielder, just going through some rather vigorous loosening exercises, so he may be about to get another spell. Deep in conversation with Ajinkya Rahane, the short mid-wicket fielder, who's vigorously shining the ball on his right thigh. Pandya behind some red reflective sunglasses, underarms the ball to Ishant Sharma, the bowler. Tall figure, leggy, he's got a streak of red on the front of his trousers and one on the back of his right thigh. He's in now past the umpire and bowls, and Foster once more defends with a bent front knee. The score remains 190 for 5.
Yes, and Foster just begins to show why the Essex team and the Essex fans have missed him so much. Just such a useful man to come in at number 7.
It's a picture of serenity, James Foster. He's seen it all before.
Oh yes.
A friendly match against the tourists won't get him too flustered.
No.
His shadow is now across the pitch, almost on a wide half-volley length, leaning forward, crouching in his stance as Sharma right arm over bowls. Once more, James Foster with that very solid forward defensive stroke.
And also Foster's probably got to that very nice situation that professional cricketers, or some professional cricketers, find themselves in as much as they can now. James Foster's basically just playing for fun. He knows he's in the twilight of his career. He's got coaching jobs lined up, he's got teaching jobs lined up. As I say, he's got a wife and 3 daughters, so he's got plenty of other things in his life, which all of which are probably more important than actually playing cricket for Essex at this stage in his career. So a very nice situation to be in, and it means that now he can just play for a while. He originally played cricket, which is for fun.
Sharma hurries towards Foster. It's a short ball. Foster tries a full stroke. The ball doesn't really bounce high enough and goes through to Dinesh Karthik on the second bounce. Ishant just walks back towards the umpire. I think he's inquiring about how many deliveries there are remaining in the over. Just the one.
I think all professional, sportsmen generally in most sports are so very lucky. In most sports, or most high-profile sports, they're extremely well paid. and they've converted their hobby into their livelihood. You know, whether they're cricketers, footballers, rugby players, tennis players, originally they played it for fun, and they then discover, or gradually it dawns on them, I'm really quite good at this, I could make a very good living out of it. So, you know, why shouldn't they have fun? It's what life's all about.
Ishant once more to complete the over. That's down the leg side. Foster looking to play a rather expansive stroke off his pad, but gets no bat on it. It just hits the padded front leg. Essex take a leg by, and they end the over on 191 for 5. Foster has 5. Paul Walter has 4. Isan Sharma 2 for 38 from his 10 overs, and there's around about 45 minutes of play remaining in the day.
Paul Walter, on the other hand, has to adopt a completely different approach. Of course, he is in the spring of his career, or maybe not even fully got into it yet, and he is battling to become a regular county cricketer and the lifestyle that goes with it. So, you know, he and James Foster are now out there batting with a very different mindset about the whole thing, although both determined to get runs.
There's going to be a change in the bowling. As we suspected, Hardik Pandya was getting loose during the last over, and now he's going to have a little trundle from the Hayes close end. The breeze blows in our direction from the far end of the ground, bringing welcome relief to all around Chelmsford. Pandya shines the ball on his left leg. There's a short step run up for long stride and into Foster, that's outside the off stump and left alone. For new bowler Pandya, there are 3 slips, a point, a cover, a mid-off, a mid-on and mid-wicket. I think there's a long leg. If I get out of my chair to check, there is. Clapping of the hands comes from the slips. Second slip, Virat Kohli, the India captain, who's crouching with his hands on his knees and a blue cap on his head as Pandya bowls. Foster, the number 7, pushes the ball into the onside and there's no run. You with us tomorrow, Dick?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I was originally meant to be, and then it was put to Paul Newton, who is coming tomorrow. It was put to both of us that, you know, if either of us wanted the day off, then we could, provided that there's going to be cover anyways. So if you and Cheetah are both here tomorrow,
Pandya bowls, Foster edges all along the ground to third slip.
I may well not, but Paul Newton certainly will. Or I may pop in until lunch, maybe just as a, not working, but just as a busman's holiday. Particularly if there's a possibility of, you see, I'm one of those now. You know, I'm going to say, particularly if there's a chance of Virat Kohli batting. I've never seen him bat in the flesh.
Kohli is currently standing at second slip with his hands behind his back, the right hand holding the left. He now adjusts his sunglasses and crouches because Pandya is bowling to Foster. A length delivery outside the off stump that is left alone. And James Foster, a picture of patience at the moment. He has 5 from 23 deliveries. Taking his time, doing a little bit of gardening at the moment. Fastidiously tapping at the ground. He fiddles with his visor with his left hand and then scratches at the guard. Away to our right, there's still hospitality tents that have been pretty full throughout the day. Pandya bowls again to Foster, beaten Foster. That's a good delivery from Pandya. It's angled in, right arm over, and just holding its line. Maybe it's nipping away slightly. Foster beaten, the ball going over the top of off stump.
Yeah, I think that was nipping away, wasn't it? Foster goes down the wicket, but I think it's just good bowling. I don't think as much that padding the pitch, prodding the pitch can do to prevent that happening. It's just a good bowler of international class.
Foster taps the bat a couple of times, then a third time, and raises it up and waits for Pandya crouching. Foster driving uppishly, but it goes past mid-off and he should get 4, Foster. Just for a moment the ball was aerial, but it bounced before it reached mid-off and then scooted away to where there's an electronic advertising board. James Foster picks up a boundary, he moves on to 9. and Essex are 195 for 5 at the end of the over. Essex exactly 200 runs behind.
Yes, and that electronic advertising board shows up quite brightly, not because it's it's a dull day. It's not. It's still a cloudless blue sky, but it's in one of the two very small parts of the ground which are in the shade, and therefore it does show up at the moment, just proclaiming the merits of a certain type of cider.
I wonder how early you have to be. How early you have to get to Chelmsford to get one of those seats underneath the sycamore tree at the far end of the ground that gets shade all day.
Yes, probably.
What if they sleep here?
It may well do. I would think most of those are in their seats by 11 o'clock. So I bet they're there by 9:30. Or just, I mean, even now, of course, even in this day and age, you can sort of get there early, put a coat or something on a seat, and then that reserves it, and you can go off into the town and buy a newspaper or something like that, or whatever. Well, people don't buy so many newspapers now, do they? But well, I certainly do. Even have one delivered, although it always comes late at this time of year because the school holidays have started.
Changing the bowling, Mohammed Shami from the River End. He's bowled 10 overs, no wickets for 38 runs. He's round the wicket to left-handed ball through, drives comfortably up to a shortish extra cover, and there's no run. There are 3 slits in place and a leg gully. Point, that extra cover that we just mentioned, mid-on, mid-wicket and a long leg. Virat Kohli was just patting his head. I don't know if that suggests that he wants a helmet brought out or if he was just joshing with one of the fielders. Shami has the ball back in his hands and he's shining it as he stands on the parched, burnt, brown outfield. As he runs in, the little spots of dust kicking up, and now he bowls to Walter. That is a short ball onto Walter's hip, and he does well to turn it round the corner to the long leg fielder. Single taken, score moves on.
Stephen was talking about probably only cope with 50 of them. Yeah, about 50 spectators, 40 maybe. So yeah, they're much in demand.
Do you think that many?
Well, I was just looking there.
I think maybe you're right. There's about 4 rows of at least 10, isn't there?
Yes, I just thought you'd get 40 in there. Yeah.
The VIP area of the ground.
No, just members.
Just members.
No, the VIPs are up on the balcony just to the left of the scoreboard that we can see. Premier Suite, I think it's called.
Right-handed Foster waits for Shami. That's bounced a bit from Shami, taking the shoulder of the bat. But Foster, with soft hands, controls the ball into the ground. It runs to third slip. Paul Walter, the non-striker, tall figures, now having a little chat with Hardik Pandya, the mid-on fielder. And now the umpire, Nick Cook's getting involved. I wonder if they're discussing dinner plans. Where we'll all go this evening. I can recommend the Nepalese.
Well, I know that Nick Cook certainly likes Asian food because I've been to many an Asian restaurant on the, following Essex around, and it's surprising how many times he's happened to be in the same one if he's umpiring the match.
Shami scuttles it and bowls to Foster. That's outside the off stump. Left alone. And now Pandya and Cook are having a really in-depth discussion. Cook has even moved from his spot behind the stumps. He's moved towards Pandya.
Can't be anything contentious, can it?
No, I don't think it is. They're just enjoying each other's company.
Yes.
Pandya, a few hand signals, maybe there's a thumbs up, and Cook's now got his arms outstretched as if to say, I don't really know what's going on. And now they're about 20 yards away and the conversation continues.
They're not still discussing that possible LBW at Chalmers, surely.
Well, Shami, white towel in the back of the waistband of his trousers in, and he bowls to Foster, who cuts for 4. Lovely stroke by James Foster. It was short from Shami, and Foster pounced, cutting almost dead square, maybe just behind square, past the backward point, and that brings up the Essex 200. They're 200 for 5. James Foster is on to 13.
And then again, that was reminiscent. That reminded me of a shot that was played about 11:30 this morning by one of the Indian players. I can't remember who it was. He was left-handed, and that made a very similar noise on the bat as if it came absolutely out of the sweetest spot. And that too was cracked away to square on the offside, only because it was he's left-handed, went to the other side of the pitch. I'm just trying to remember who it was. I remember I'd waxed lyrical about it at the time.
Shami has the ball back. He takes a little bit of sweat from his forehead and rubs it on the red leather. He's in now to Foster, who's driving gumpishly almost to mid-wicket. But the ball reaches the fielder on the bounce. That is the end of the over. Essex on 200 for 5, Foster 13, Walter 5. Essex are 195 runs behind the Tourists. You're listening on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra and online on the BBC Sport website with BBC Essex. About another 34 minutes of cricket left, and then Sports Extra will take a break for an hour before there's some rugby league. Dick, I'm going to duck off just for a couple of minutes to update BBC Radio 5 Live listeners, then I'll come and join you for the rest of the day.
Okay, fine. Take up the commentary, and well, obviously I will, since I'm the only one here, as it's the tall figure, the very tall figure of Paul Maynard, who lets that go by outside the off stump. It's still Pandya bowling from the far end, the Hayes close end, the opposite end to that from which we are commentating on these matches and all matches at Essex play throughout the season, and as we have been doing for 23 years to my knowledge, and probably quite a bit longer. Pandya in again. Bowls outside the off stump, as we have the Paul Walters happy to let it go by. No addition to the score. Of 200 for 5, I haven't mentioned what the score is. So that represents a deficit of 195, with the Indians having been bowled out eventually for 395. As Pandya moves in again from the far end, bowls to Walter, who again lets it go by outside the off stump, and the wicketkeeper Kartik taking that, moving away even further to his left. Still got 3 slips. That moving away even further to his left. A backward point. A leg slip. Still. Pandya again to Walter. Walter plays that pleasantly, but non-productively, as it's straight to mid-off. There's a big gap on the offside. There's a mid-off, and there's a backward point. Nobody between the two. Vast acres of Essex wasteland between the two of them. Well, actually, that area, it doesn't look so much a wasteland because it's green, because it's predominantly the outer part of the fairly big square here at the county ground at Chelmsford. Not as big as at the Oval in Kennington, which stretches from one side of the ground to the other. That's outside the off stump. And again, Walter has the luxury of allowing it to go through the wicketkeeper. That's still a pretty big square here. And just half an hour of the day to go. And probably all the players